What's up, YouTube? Welcome back for another college football picks video. This week, week 8. Before we get to that though, apologize for no video last week. There was a hurricane that came by and kind of hit me right. Yeah, sorry for no video. It was one of the biggest or bigger weeks of college football, and we missed it. I apologize about that. This week, another big week for college football, and I'll talk about all the games from last week as well. Just me today, no Rhett. Unfortunately, the hurricane took the Rhett with the strong winds and blew him all the way to the North Pole, where he's going to be staying there for the rest of the holiday season, as he does have to work for Santa this holiday, and he's on a busy schedule. Santa really needed him this season. He's one of the bigger employees, North Pole, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So, so it's just me today. Sorry about that. But yeah, last week, I finished with a record of 4-6. Rhett finished 5-5. He had the one up on me. Rhett's on top of me by 3 games. Pause. His record's at 33-36. I'm at 30-39. Not a great season for me at all. Just taking a look at some of the games from last week. I was able to pick the upset Wisconsin over Rutgers. Huge call by me. They had a huge win. Wisconsin looked like a really good team, and they really beat an impressive Rutgers team so far this season. Iowa also got Iowa correct. They were able to destroy Washington, who was able to pick up a win over Michigan. So that's a huge win for Iowa. They're sitting at 4-2 now. USC lost to overtime against Penn State, man. Oh, that was a great game. They had a big lead. Unfortunately, they blew the lead and allowed Penn State to come back. They were underdogs, almost called that one. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done. Cal could not get it done against Pittsburgh. Another close game. Almost was able to tie up the game. Fortunately, couldn't do it. Next one, I gotta stop doubting BYU, man. BYU been on a tear, 6-0, destroying opponents, destroying Arizona, a really good Arizona team. This was almost a pick 'em, by the way, and they ended up winning by, I believe, 22 points. Yeah. So final score was 41-19. BYU might actually be legit, man. They're sitting at 14. They might be higher now. This is part of last week's rankings, so we'll see about that. After that, we had Washington State over Fresno. I was able to pick Washington State correct. They got a big win over Fresno State. Not a big win, but they really did a win. Ohio State, man. I picked Ohio State this game. Oregon was at home. I should have known better. Oregon, man. They freaking Dan Lanning. Incredible coach. Amazing call to get 12 players on the field. They gave a 5 yards, but prevented any big plays. So, interesting choice. NCAA is going to review that now to prevent it from happening anymore. But, man, freaking Ohio State's quarterback running it out and couldn't get the ball off in time. And, I mean, he snapped the ball. He held it for a few seconds, then decided to run, slid when the clock ran 0. Interesting time management situation there for Ohio. Did not look good. Not a good look for Ryan Day. Next, I picked Ohio State to beat LSU. They had the lead big early. LSU was able to come out. Man, LSU can put up points. I thought Ole Miss could do the same, but they weren't able to keep up. Kyron Lacy, huge play to win the game in OT. That guy is legit. Can't wait to see where he goes in the draft. After that, I picked West Virginia to beat Iowa State. West Virginia was at home. I thought they could get something going on the ground. Could not do it. Iowa State's also a legit team, sitting at 6-0, number 11 in the country. And that last game from last week, Kansas State. I picked Kansas State to win over Colorado. They were get it done. Colorado almost was able to get back, couldn't do it. No. Kansas State was able to score the game-winning touchdown and survive Colorado. So Kansas State, sitting at 5-1. Good for them. All right, moving on to this week's game. First game on the slate, we got Miami at Louisville, and Miami number 6. The last 2 games, they became really close. losing bad against Cal, was able to come back. Losing bad against Virginia Tech, and that was able to come back in that game as well. They were able to win games. The passing game is definitely their strength. Louisville, they've been a pretty solid team. I mean, they were able to come back against Virginia. Before that, they were on a 2-game losing streak against SMU and Notre Dame. They almost lost to Virginia. Will Miami keep it close? Probably. I mean, Miami's only favored by 5. Louisville's at home. But, I mean, Miami's been finding ways to win games, and I can't pick against them there. I mean, I think they find a way to win this week as well. So give me Miami on the road. And I also have Rhett's picks here. Rhett is also going with Miami. Um, and he picked Miami solely because he's not a fan of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So interesting analysis there. So both on the same page there. Moving on, we got Nebraska, Indiana. I'm going to roll with Nebraska this game. I think Nebraska has very tough defense, but Indiana, man, they've been able to surprise some people, surprise some teams. They're surprising me so far this season. They have, I believe, is Ohio's former quarterback in Curtis Rourke. He's been having a good season so far. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Then Raiola, the freshman from Nebraska, sitting at 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, Nebraska's offense can be a little slow at times, but I mean, that defense what honestly keeps them in the game. And if they're going to win this game, it's going to be through the defense. They're going to be on the road. Things are against Nebraska here, so I think it's a 50-50 matchup here. Indiana's at home. The coach for Indiana has a winning record against Nebraska, and Indiana's undefeated. I mean, everything's going for Indiana. I mean, this is definitely going to be a huge step up in competition for Indiana. I mean, looking at the last 5 opponents, it was I don't even know what team that is. UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, and Northwestern win easily against those teams. Nebraska, they've been getting tested. They won against a pretty solid Rutgers team. They beat Purdue. They lost in overtime against a really good Illinois team, and they were able to beat Colorado. So I'm actually gonna stay with the upset here with Nebraska. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Indiana is able to pull this one out. As far as Ferret, he's also going for Nebraska. He says he is a fan of mini Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Indiana's offense has been on tear. So we're on the same page again, which is probably not a good look. Because we usually get those games wrong. But anyways, moving on. Next game, we got Arizona State at Cincinnati. Now, this is a very interesting game because Arizona State is going to be without their starting quarterback. They're going to be running with their backup quarterback. And Cincinnati's been having a pretty good season so far. No Sam Levitt for Arizona State. But Scatterbo, he's been really impressive with him and his ticks. He keeps shaking his head for some reason. Scatterbo, he's been having a good season so far this season. Arizona State, huge win against Utah. They were able to beat the likes of Kansas, kept it close against Texas Tech, and by keeping it close, keeping it within 1 score. Texas State, big win there. Arizona State, they'd be an SEC team there. So Cincinnati was able to get a pretty good win against UCF. Lost to Texas Tech as well. Was able to beat Houston, Miami of Ohio, and lost to Pitt. So, Arizona State, Scatterbo is playing. He's been playing pretty well. But I got trust in Sorsby here. Cincinnati's been having a great season so far. They're at home. So I'm going to ride with the Bearcats. And it doesn't help that Arizona State is going to be with their backup quarterback. The line is at 5.5. They opened at 2.5 for Cincinnati. Now it's 5.5 for Cincinnati. So give me the Bearcats at home. As for Rhett, he's going with the beast in Scatterbo. Big Scatterbo fan. He's going to ride with the Arizona State Sun Devils. So first opposing picks there. That'd be interesting. He's ahead of me, so he's been killing me on those different games right there. Next game, we got Louisiana and Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina's going to be at home. They like to run it on the ground. Louisiana, solid season for both teams, actually. I was going to say solid season for Louisiana, but both teams were pretty solid. Coastal, they lost to tough Virginia team, and they lost to a tough James Madison team as well. As for Louisiana, their one loss comes in Tulane, but they're still able to put up 33 points, and I like the look of that. Um, yeah, I think Louisiana's gonna be the better team here, so I'm gonna take them on the road here. For Rhett, he says he loves Cajun food, so he's gonna go with Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. Something, I mean, again, doesn't like Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the mascot for Coastal Carolina is a chicken, so he says can't contradict himself there, so he's gonna go with Louisiana. Go Cajuns. Next game, huge game, probably game of the week here. We got Bama at Tennessee. Um, Tennessee survived against Florida. Honestly, Florida should have won that game. They had 4 red zone trips in the first half, only got away with 3 points. Should have been 28-0 at halftime, but thankfully for Texas, it was only 3-0, and they were able to pull it out in overtime against Florida. Not the best look for Tennessee. They've been keeping it close the last few games, even losing to Arkansas. I mean, they had a hot start to the season. Ever since kind of cooled down. Bama, man, I mean, they've been keeping it close with some teams as well in the beginning of the season, but as of late, they've been able to kind of pull away. But now they're back to like the beginning of the season kind of vibe, losing to Vandy, uh, almost losing to South Carolina. What a huge onside kick recovery for South Carolina. Uh, yeah, I'm Alabama. Besides the game against Georgia, has not been looking impressive whatsoever. Um, Jalen Milroe, he might be a little overrated at this point, potentially. I don't know, man. You would expect him to be destroying South Carolina and just at least winning against Vandy, but that didn't happen. Tennessee's also they cooling down. I mean, this could be. These teams are kind of rivals. Tennessee's at home. Man, I think most people are gonna pick Alabama. What's the spread at? The spread is Bama by 3. I mean, Tennessee's home. I think I'm gonna go with Tennessee just because they're at home. I think it's that close of a matchup that it's gonna make a difference who's playing at home. Uh, and Lamaliva, man. I mean, he's cooled down. So has Jalen Milroe. I mean, the running back Sampson is still pretty solid, and Ryan Williams is on a tear for Bama. But I don't know. Tennessee's defense is still pretty good. So watch out for that. That's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, give me Tennessee at home. As for Rhett, he said he's going to Tennessee as well. Big fan of Lamaliva, even though they should have lost against Florida. This guy, whatever. We're both on Tennessee. I was kind of hoping he was going to pick Bama, but oh well. Next game, another big matchup here. We got Michigan at Illinois. Michigan, not a great season for the Wolverines, honestly. Illinois, on the other hand, has been having a great season. Michigan, favored by 3.5. I mean, it opened at -1. I'm surprised it's been going Michigan's way. I feel like more people would be picking Illinois. They're sitting at 5-1 with their only loss coming to Washington. No, not Washington. My mistake. I'm looking at Michigan's schedule. Their one loss coming to Penn State, and Penn State's been undefeated. They've been playing pretty good. I mean, Illinois is a tough team. Watch out, man. Allmeyer's been having a great season. 14 touchdowns to 1 interception. Michigan, I mean, who knows what's going on with that offense? I mean, I think they find a running back in Mullings. He's been kind of on a tear. I mean, it's another 50-50 matchup. I want to go Michigan, but Illinois has been having the better season, honestly. Can I trust Michigan's quarterbacks? I don't know. I feel like I can trust Illinois' quarterback more. So I think originally I had Michigan, but I think I'm going to flip to Illinois and trust in Allmeyer to get the win here at home. I mean, they've been having a good season. I'm going to ride with it. Honestly, ride the wave. Ride the hot team. As for Rhett, he's also going with Illinois. Not a Michigan believer, man. He said no orgy party in the end zone this week. So, pause. Yeah, he said, no P. Diddy, whatever. Illinois at home. Same side there, surprisingly. Wow. And Illinois is a plus 155 underdog, so interesting takes. Moving on, next game. We got Baylor at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I mean, lost their first game, but ever since, low key been on a tear. Winning 5 straight games, I believe. They're 5-1, right? Yep. So I mean, Texas Tech is looking legit right now. 5-1, 3-0 in conference play. Baylor, on their other hand, it's only 2-4. Lose to tough competition, I will say. Utah, Colorado, BYU, Iowa State, and the only close game is being Colorado. So I mean, take that as you will. Texas Tech only lost Washington State. No, that was their second game of the season. My mistake. But ever since their 4-game winning streak, and they've been putting up points on the board 66, 30, 44, and 28. So Texas Tech looking good. More than 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And I'm going to go with the Raiders. Give me the Red Raiders. They're the better team here, in my opinion. They're favored by 6 at home. Even better, give me the Raiders. Next. Before we go to the next game, Rhett. Rhett is going with Texas Tech as well. Yeehaw. He said, go Cowboys. Next game, we got LSU at Arkansas. And just to keep this one quick, me and Rhett are both going LSU. I mean, Arkansas got a huge win their last game against Tennessee. So, can't be sleeping against Arkansas. They're at home, too. It's going to be a dangerous game. But LSU, ever since their loss against USC, 5 straight games, huge comeback win against Ole Miss. I mean, that's probably their toughest game, and they had to come back against them. Arkansas's their only loss is a close game against Texas A&M. That's a good look, but the loss to Oklahoma State's not looking that great, and they only beat UAB by 10. I mean, Taylor Green, he's a inconsistent quarterback. I'll say that much. But when he's on, he's on. Running back got 10 touchdowns for Arkansas. But watch out for Gus Nussmeier and Kyron Lacy. Kyron Lacy is probably one of the better wide receivers in the nation right now. So I don't see anyone from Arkansas defense being able to stop them too, that combo. So give me LSU, and I'm sure Rhett feels the same way. Next, okay, this is the real game of the week. We got number 5 Georgia at number 1 Texas. I mean, you gotta think this is almost a must-win game for Georgia if they want to make the playoffs. I don't know if a 3-loss Georgia team makes the playoff, and if they do, it'll be really close. I mean, I think they would have to win the SEC at that point. So they would have to have things fall their way. I mean, last week didn't look too good. Mississippi State kept it within 10 points, even though Georgia was I think they were a 30-point favorite or something. Let me go check that odds real quick. 35-point favorite against Mississippi State and only won by 10. Not a good look. Texas, on the other hand, they've been taking care of business. Put up 31 against Michigan, 56 against UTSA, 51 against ULM, 35 against Mississippi State, and holding them to 13 points, something that Georgia could not do. And keeping Oklahoma to 3 and putting up 34 points on the top Oklahoma team, or Oklahoma defense. I mean, watch out for Quinn Ewers, man. He's been on a tear, but definitely toughest. This is going to be the toughest competition for Texas. Carson Beck has not been looking all that great this season, man. He seemed to have this, I can't spam, he really struggled against this guy's coverage. It took him a bit to get it going that game. I mean, this Georgia team, they got to wake up eventually, right? So if there was ever a game for them to wake up and turn their season around, not that they're having a bad season or anything, but this is underwhelming for Georgia standards, it'll probably be this game, one of the biggest games on the schedule, it's the number 1 team in the nation. But Texas, man, 6-0. Quinn Ewers at the helm. Matthew McConaughey. Give me Texas. I'm going to ride with the Longhorns. Give me Texas at home. Not much to say there. I mean, I don't want to pick Georgia based on hoping for them to have a turnaround season when we haven't seen it yet. Or not turnaround season, but starting to pick it up. I got to see it first before I can pick them against Texas. So I'm going to go with Texas. Rhett is also going to ride with the Longhorns. Yeah. Rhett says he likes to ride bulls, so he's going with Texas. Next and last game of the slate, we got Kansas State Wildcats at West Virginia Mountaineers. Um, Honestly, Kansas State, for me, they've been a little up and down. Um, yeah, huge wins against Tulane, Arizona. Horrible loss against BYU. Big win against Oklahoma State. And then I don't think they should have kept it close against Colorado, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. Kansas State is only favored by 2.5. West Virginia's 3-3, and they're at home. Uh, I mean, the last loss was a 12-point loss to Iowa State. I think it's another 50-50 matchup, in my opinion. Would not be surprised if West Virginia pulls off the upset. Avery Johnson, I thought he would be better. I mean, West Virginia is a tough team to play at home. So for that reason alone, I'm actually gonna swap my pick. I originally had Kansas State, but I did. I played Kansas State too many times, and they disappointed me against BYU. Did not like that at all. But BYU is going to be a tough team. Close win against Colorado. I did not like that because I didn't like that. I'm just gonna go West Virginia. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Rhett is also gonna go with Kansas State, and yeah, that's gonna wrap up. That's gonna wrap up our picks video for week. Did I say this is week 7 in the beginning video? I mean week 8. Okay, my fault. Well, this is gonna wrap up week 8. Week 8 for us. Thank you guys for watching, and appreciate you guys. If you guys liked the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And with that, stay tuned for some more NFL and college football content. Catch you guys next week. Peace.